What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadian words and phrases. I absolutely love these. It never ceases to amaze me with how similar America and Canada can be, how different America and Canada can be. In the most obscure, actually, sometimes the most obvious, biggest ways possible, but in other times, the most obscure, interesting ways. And one of those ways is the slang, the words. Like this video I found here is 21 funny Canada slang words and phrases. 21. It's like learning another language. Goodness gracious. But I like it. You know, I would never have imagined there's so many little words and stuff, and sometimes they mean other things to Americans, and it's crazy, but I'm willing to go wherever this video takes us. You know, we're on a journey here. So how to speak like a Canadian, as this video says. Maybe this will just flip my whole world upside down, or teach me some funny Canadian slang. That'll be good too. So with that being said, let's take a look.
We thought that we would teach you how to speak Canadian because we're a little bit different up here in the Great White North. And if you come to visit us, you might get a little bit confused.
The Great White North. I forgot about that. That is what some people say, huh? It's a good title, The Great White North.
By the way we speak.
Well, these things that we're going to go through today will teach you a few words, a few phrases, how to say a few things. So when you do come up here, you will fit in.
The first word.
This actually, the way they talk about this actually sounds like they're about to teach me a new language. Like some words and phrases so that you can communicate with some of the Canadian locals. You can order food, you know, barely manage some of the basics of how to speak Canadian.
First word we want to teach you is something that every Canadian uses from birth. I think it's the first word I said when I spoke. It is the word A.
Okay.
There was a dramatic pause.
Yeah, I mean, I have been continually shocked by the word A. Like, it is a phenomenon of language. People should study it all over the planet. It, has a certain meaning, depending on where it is in the sentence. It's usually at the end of the sentence. It can, emphasize stuff. It can form a question. It's it's a masterpiece of modern language. A.
That was a very dramatic
Now,
pause.
you have to learn how to say the word A properly.
Everybody always puts emphasis on A, and it shouldn't be that. It should just be an easy flow with the sentence.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And when you use the word A, it's just to add a question to something. So if you're asking a question, we just put A at the end of it.
Okay. It's like the way they're saying, it's like you can spot a Canadian imposter just by if they use A correctly. The emphasis, an American or someone like me would be so excited to use A to try to fit in that we'd be spotted from a mile away. We'd be like, oh, I think I'm going, you want to go we're going to the grocery store, A? And be a little obvious, be a little too excitable. Whereas Canadians, you just put it in there. It's very natural, flows very nicely.
if you meet me and you find out I'm Canadian, you can come up to me when we're traveling and say, oh, so you're Canadian, eh?
Very good.
So,
see, she did it so much better than even the example I could come up with.
let's do a little bit of a breakdown of the words that you need to
Okay.
know when you come to Canada.
Okay.
Dave, what do Canadians call a backpack?
A knapsack.
Okay. What?
Knapsack? See, that's what I'm talking about. It's so weird, because knapsack is a word for Americans. It means backpack, but we hardly ever say it. That's so weird, how that works.
What do we call a couch?
A Chesterfield.
Right.
What do we call the letter that comes after Y?
Zed.
And the Z, man. I don't want to go on a rant about the Z, but we brought it up. Why is it that, apparently 99% of the planet says Z, and, America says Z? And for the longest time, seriously, Americans now, as we breathe and watch this video, are all thinking, just like I thought, man, what's with all those weirdos out there who say Z? That's so weird. Why aren't they saying it the normal way? Z. Then I found out, like, more people probably say Z than Z. So actually, we're the weirdos. Funny how that works.
What do we call underwear?
Gitch.
What?
It's true. Well, let's move on to something a little.
Gitch. I'm a little, I wish they would explain the origin of some of these. Gitch? Gotch? Why? Maybe I don't want to know why.
Move on to something a little more sensical.
Okay, do we have,
All right,
any, do
yeah.
we have any sense up here?
By the way, talk about critical vocabulary to be able to get your way through Canada. You gotta know how to say underwear so that Canadians, you gotta know how to say gitch. Very critical.
Of course. Sticking with the tradition of shortening things, when we go to the beer store and we want to buy a case of beer, what do we ask for? Well, we ask for a 2-4 because there's 24 beers in a case of beer. Now, most
That's kind of fun. Okay.
people call it a case, or I know in Australia they call it a flat of beer, and they get a really good laugh out of us calling it a 2-4. But come on, that's just logical.
If there's 24 beer, I get a case of 2-4, and I'm gonna drink for the weekend. And then
Okay.
you know what's even better is
I mean, I do feel like everywhere around the world has slang for beer and alcohol and a case. Twofer. Can you say it like that? Like super quick? It's twofer. I'm gonna get a twofer.
we have a long weekend at the beginning of every summer. That is Queen Victoria's birthday. It's Victoria Day. It's what the traditional name is called. But Canada calls it May 2-4 weekend. We know that we pick up a 2-4 beer, and then we go up to the cottage.
What?
We grab a Timmy's on the way because it's always a 3-hour drive to the cottage because everywhere you go in Canada is a long drive. And then we drink our
Whoa. You grab a Timmy's along the way. I thought Timmy's was a way to say Tim Hortons. I didn't know you can use it as a noun. I'm getting technical here. You can use it as a way to say some. Is that a coffee from Tim Hortons? A Timmy's? Not just the name of the establishment? Okay. Getting too advanced here. Goodness. No, maybe this is good. Okay, anyway, come on, a whole holiday, a whole Canadian holiday based around getting a case of beer? Wow.
We know that we pick up a 2-4 beer, and then we go up to the cottage. We grab a Timmy's on the way because it's always a
Right.
3-hour drive to the cottage because everywhere you go in Canada is a long drive. And then we drink our beer all May 2-4 weekend long.
Wow. No, I've never heard of that. Somehow Queen Victoria's birthday, was it? Or something else? Somehow got combined with getting drunk on a weekend. That's cool.
Dave, what's Timmy's?
Timmy's is our national coffee store.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's our coffee house.
It is. It's really like a national source of pride.
Yes, a Canadian icon.
National source of pride. I really like these guys. They are affirming every suspicion I had about Canada.
Started it. Hockey player Tim Horton.
Not only do you need to know that it's called
Wow.
Timmy's, but you have to know
This is kind of funny. I literally just learned about this yesterday.
how to order when you go.
If you pull up to
Oh, how to order. Oh. This is valuable information. Hold on.
pull up to the drive-thru, Dave, what do you order?
I order a large double. And, you're probably going, what the heck is a large double? Well, it's a large coffee with 2 cream and 2 sugar.
Oh yeah, that's
That's Canadian slang.
delicious.
Wait, so that's not written on the menu? Like even weird, as weird as stuff gets named, even in fast food in America, something like that, like a whole other name for a coffee with 2 cream, 2 sugar, double. They'd actually know what you're ordering, I assume, at the drive-thru, but that's not written on the menu. You just gotta know. That's cool.
A large double.
What's next, Deb?
I would say the next thing that Canadians have a pet peeve with is when people say to us, "Oh, you're Canadian, eh? Are you gonna go oot and a boot?" Canadians do not say oot and a boot. No.
That does not feel good on the ears. Don't.
I did, honestly, a lot of Americans do genuinely believe this to be true. So, yeah, me included for a long time, especially the very hard aboot. I know parts of Canada have the aboot. Don't try to tell me they don't. As a matter of fact, I wish You know what? I wish this were true. I wish this were more true. It would have honestly have been more of a fun, fulfilling fantasy of mine. Like if Canadians actually had this everything else is spoken pretty much the same way as Americans in pronunciation, except for about. But what else do we have here?
Ever say that?
We say oat in a boat. That's how we talk about it.
Yeah.
It's more
It's still a little different. It's still got a little zest. Out in a boat. How did she say that?
I feel good on the ears. Don't
No.
ever say that.
we say oat in a boat.
Out in a boat. It's like raising the inflection, honestly.
That's how we talk about it.
Yeah.
It's more back in the throat, oat. You know.
Oats.
And a boat is more like a boat,
That's
not
it.
a boot.
Yes.
Not a boot you put on your foot.
Okay, maybe this is why Americans are so hung up on this, because although the pronunciation is not as extreme as we think it is, it's still different, which is good. I like that.
No.
But a boat that you go rowing in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's about 4 o'clock. That's how we say it.
Okay.
It's a boot 4 o'clock.
So let's hear everybody. It's a
A
boat.
boat for.
I just said a boot.
Okay. That's a good hack. Say boat. A boat. Wow, that actually works.
What do we call a small bottle of booze?
A Mickey. 375 mil.
What do we
Okay.
call a brown noser?
A Keener.
Keener. Keener. That's satisfying to say. That sounds like an American word. Keener.
You're a Keener.
What do you call a guy's pot belly?
Why, that's a Molson muscle. And why do you call it a Molson muscle? Well, because we're very good at drinking beer. Our beer is made by Molson, and hey, it does a good job of building up this muscle.
Oh, wow.
They work very hard
Makes
on
sense.
Yeah, the men up here work really hard on that Molson
There's a
muscle.
little bit of pride there.
That's funny.
Now, I thought the whole world knew that we called our $1 coin a loonie.
I thought so too.
But I was
I have heard of this only because I've watched a lot of Canadian YouTube. No, Americans have no clue about a loony, about a toonie, none of that. Sounds made up, but I know it to be true.
telling some people when we were in Istanbul a couple months ago, and they were like, you call your currency a loonie?
Yeah.
And this is what a loonie is, people. It's our $1
Right.
coin.
I mean, that's another thing. The fact that Canadians even have a coin, a dollar coin. It's kind of fun. You could have a whole bunch of your coins in a pouch or something. Really feel like you're back in the day. But there is a $1 American coin. I have literally never seen anyone pull it out, spend it, use it, have it in my life. It's just not a thing. So do Canadians actually use the dollar coin like regularly? Because that's actually surprisingly a big difference.
Dave, why do Canadians call our $1 coin a loonie?
Well, it's actually for a really good reason, because in Canada, as
Does it have the loon? Is that a bird?
you know, we're very practical. It's call things what they actually are. It's because on our loonie is an actual picture of a loon.
Yes.
A loon is a bird that goes,
Woo! Woo!
Oh, it does. Is this like mandatory? Do all Canadians have to be able to do this? The loon call?
Well, there you go.
the call of the loon.
So when you're sitting on your
Okay.
deck at your cottage, consuming one of your 2-4s, or perhaps having a Timmy's, you can
Right.
listen to the call of the loon.
Wow.
Oh, I know one other thing.
That would be an experience, being in Canada and hearing the call of the loon might be like a life-changing experience. Especially if you had a 2-4 with you, get out of here. Life-changing.
Okay.
It's washroom.
Oh, yes.
That's what we call our toilets up here. It's
Yes.
not toilet. It's not bathroom.
How does he manage to make me feel so bad about some of the way Americans say stuff? It's not a toilet. It's not a bathroom. Savages looking at you. It's a washroom. Washroom does sound a lot better. Washroom. Some people in America say washroom. Never really understood why they'd say that, or what technically would make a washroom in America. It's a bathroom. Yeah, it's a bathroom.
Not ladies' room.
It's not
It's not
ladies'
powder
room.
room.
It's not water closet. There's so many different names. It's actually washroom.
Yeah, we call it
Okay.
a washroom.
Because you go in there, you go to the washroom, and you wash your hands.
We call trainers, I guess, or sneakers.
Or sneakers, or tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes, runners.
Runners.
Yeah, any sort of...
Runners. I like that one. I think I've heard that one. I like that. Runners. That's very practical. That makes complete sense. Not a thing in America at all, but I like that one.
athletic type shoe is called a runner
Yeah.
up here. So you can run in any type of athletic shoe. We're not prejudiced against what kind of shoes you wear.
No.
We call it all the same.
I call them running shoes. That's
Yeah.
what I personally called them all my life. I said I need a new pair of running shoes.
Not sneakers?
I never ever called them sneakers.
Sneakers. There we go. That makes me feel right at home. Ah, sneakers. Perfect.
Now, we don't just have the loony. Toonie came about just because it sort of made sense. And it
rhymes
rhymed with loony.
loony.
Yeah.
What do we call macaroni and cheese?
Oh.
That's KD. I don't think anybody...
Wait, what? Because I know in the United Kingdom, I found out they call it craft dinner, and I was able to extrapolate very scientifically that Canadians must call it KD as a short for craft dinner, both of which would mean absolutely nothing to an American, and we just call it mac and cheese. Kraft is the brand I would associate with that, so I was a little confused at Kraft dinner, but I kind of got it. But I'm sure Kraft makes other dinners, if you want to get technical about it. KD, that's even shorter to say. Not mac and cheese, KD.
Came about just because it sort of made sense. And that's KD. I don't think anybody who is not Canadian will guess what this word means.
Pogie. For some reason, it reminds me of a bear. Maybe that's because of that one bear. Like that, what's it called? Hoagie bear? Pogie bear? Am I making this up?
Okay.
Are you ready? Pogie. Who knows what pogie means?
Pogo stick.
You know, it's not like a stick you
A lot of
jump
people
on.
think
What? 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 Wow. I fell for that hook, line, and sinker. Goodness. I have no idea what a pogie is then. I like the word. Pogie.
It's not like
on a
the
stick.
wiener on a stick. You know,
Pogie is our,
slang term. I would
it's
say.
a slang term for unemployment.
Or
So-
social assistance.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't even call it social
Okay.
assistance up here. We call it unemployment.
It's
If you
just-
get laid off from work.
It's
or-
pogie.
Yeah, you go collect your
You go
pogie.
collect pogie.
Like welfare or unemployment, like assistance or a grant or okay. You have a whole slang term for it. Okay.
Okay, the next thing that is very Canadian is something that we all wear in the wintertime. We wear something called a toque.
Toque.
What a
Toque. You all wear it in the wintertime. Toque. Is it a type of hat? Is it a hat that covers your ears? Could that be a toque? Or is it a gloves or a boot?
toque is it's a hat. It's usually a wool hat or something very warm that comes down over your ears and
That was literally a complete guess. Unless my subconscious somehow... No, not even kidding. I honestly did not know what a toque was. I just figured of all the things, that's probably not going to... You're not going to come up with a slang term for a jacket or like a boot, but maybe a hat. Man, I'm just on the ball, man. The Canadian is just connecting with me. It's like forming a symbiotic relationship here. Wow. It's a hat. Covers your ears. Somehow I knew. Deep in my bones.
it's a hat. It's usually a wool hat or something very warm that comes down over your ears and usually it has a pom-pom on the top as well.
Oh.
That's very, very Canadian. And we call
okay.
that a toque. So if you're wondering what a toque is, it keeps your head warm and it's quite fashionable.
Yeah, these things. I was actually picturing these things here that cover your ears. Huh.
And one final word. Work on learning how to apologize. Apologize to a table if you run into it.
It's so funny to me that Canadians are very, very self-aware about this one. About saying sorry, about apologizing, overly apologizing. A lot of the Canadians I see in videos are very, very aware of this one. So that's very funny to me.
Apologize to a pole if you run into it. Apologize to the person that runs into you. That's what we do. We always say I'm sorry to
right.
everything.
And that
Sorry.
brings us to the end of the video.
And also it is sorry, not sorry. Sorry. They'd say, get away from me, you American. No, probably be a lot nicer than that. But they'd identify me with my poor use of A and my hard sorry.
If you want to learn more about Canada and travel, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel in the link below.
A.
Okay, I liked this. This was great. This was by The Planet D. I liked it. I gotta give that a like. This was really good. That was 21 different things. Man, I had heard of some of those, I gotta be honest, but shockingly, like 80-90% of these, I genuinely did not know. And somehow I guessed what a toque was. But for some that I had heard of, they did help explain a little bit of the origin or use case of some of this. I tell you, this Canadian slang, these Canadian words and phrases, it's like a science to me. I gotta keep studying it. It's fascinating. Could get a degree in Canadianology at this point. But yeah, I love it. I liked this video a lot. This was very good. Exactly what I was hoping for. And always eternally fascinating. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video as well, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada, Canadian culture, stuff in Canada that I have never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.